Okay, so I want to talk about the surgical suture materials right now, and I will be going through their classifications and the reason for the classifications. Coming up with classifications is quite easy, but putting the reasons for that with that, and getting a complete idea so that you remember them at the end of the day seems like a much more important thing. So we'll go through some of the concepts which I believe is important, and then we'll follow it that with some quick examples. I'm only going to be telling ones that are easy to remember, or that will aid you in remembering. Okay, so let's go through this. So surgical sutures you can divide into absorbable and non-absorbable. If you So that is what that means is absorbable ones will go away on their own. Non-absorbable will remain there. It's a simple concept. So from this point, you can start to think, right? Can absorbable sutures be on the outside? I mean, if you have a large wound on the outside, do you think absorbable sutures are a good thing on the outside? No, definitely not. So where do we exactly leave them? Probably on the inside. So on the inside of the body, you don't want to be opening up uh, incisions to remove sutures, because once you put sutures, you have to remove them if they are non-absorbable. Absorbable means they will be removed on their own by the action of enzymes. So you don't need to go for the process of removing it. And this is best done when the target is on the inside of the body, because you avoid another surgery. So with that, the point to remember here is that absorbable goes away on its own. So it is used preferably on the inside, while on the outside you use non-absorbable suture materials. Another form of classification when it comes to surgical sutures is monofilament or multifilament. What it basically means is monofilaments are just one single thread, while multifilament are braided together. Meaning, like you see, the ladies would be braiding their hair just like that; they'll be braided together. So, what is the significance of this? Is the first one. Let's think of this from a common, logical point of view. If something is just a thread, it's very easy to tear it or break it down. So monofilament in the sense is one thread, but it is very easy to break down. Now let's look at the other one, multifilament, many filaments together. Right? It's surely going to be very, very hard to tear that apart. So that is a very simple way of putting those differences and understanding the classification. But there is a downside to this. And what is the downside? In monofilament, since it's just one thread, it's very fine and there's not really a lot of space for bacterial accumulation. There's no area for the bacteria to really grip onto. That is less likely to be an area of proliferation for pathogenic organisms. But on the other hand, because multifilament is braided, you have all these pumps and things that can cause bacteria to be dislodged, and it can really become quite contaminated some quickly. So that is not something you would want, right? But then again, certain times you have to weigh the risks over the benefits, and then you have to make your decisions, right? So that is a few of this classification. You can also still classify even further into natural and synthetic. That is just, because it's not based on anything, because I had researched about the allergies. It was not so much like, it's not that it's more allergies are seen in a specific category. Like just because it is synthetic doesn't mean it's going to be allergic, or the other way around. So it really has no real significance. So the main classifications you would want to remember are the absorbable, non-absorbable, and the monofilament and the multifilament. Another thing we can point out is the surgical size of this, the needles. And so it goes according to I think it's the US gauge system. The US gauge system goes from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 upwards. Downwards, it goes in a way that is very different. So in the sense that is like 2 knot, 3 knot, 4 knot and so on. So as it goes up, for example, 0 is usually has a diameter of 0.4 millimeters. And as we go up, for every number, it goes up by 0.1 millimeters, so 0.4, 0.5, 0.678. As we come down from 0, it goes from 0.4 to 0.35, 0.3, 0.25. Moreover, if you want to get a quick idea on what these numbers and values mean, you would want to use smaller needles in more sensitive areas, like for example the face, the neck, the penis. So all of these areas can be used. You can use a smaller size, and that small size is like from the US gauge. You can go from 4 knot to 6 knot. But I mean is the downwards one which I had mentioned. So 4 knot to 6 knot, you can go downwards. This is for the sensitive areas. So what I mean by sensitive areas, I would repeat it: the face, neck, penis, somewhere around areas close to the eyes, again the face, yes. And the other one would be for extremities, for regions other than that. Then the choice would go from somewhere around 2 to 4, something like that. Yeah. Now, having talked about the size, now another way I had mentioned at the start, I would be telling you a way to remember a few of these things. And so let's say absorbable and non-absorbable. I'll be just telling a few ones that how I keep them in my mind. Right, I always keep things somewhat related to the topic. So here's how it goes. So absorbable and non-absorbable. So first we start with the non-absorbable. Non-absorbable things, materials. Just remember this. It's like this things you would see at a textile cloth. So you have nylon, you have silk, you have cotton, and you have something called proline, which is a little bit different, but you understand what it means, right? Non-absorbable is like textile wear. On the other hand, absorbable, you might just want to remember vicryl, because that's the most common thing I hear about. Vicryl means polygalactin. Yeah, so there's 5 materials, and I'm sure you will not forget them after what I said.